we might cover. We sent out the kinds of things that we might cover today in the invitation letter. And I'll let Jane continue.
Okay, well, we thought we ought to open it up by just giving everyone a chance to talk about what's new and different in your life at the moment. Just a couple of minutes at the most. So I'll start. I retired in December after 30 years at the Pittsburgh Foundation, 50 years altogether, which is stunning. It's just stunning in terms of how fast everything went. And I'm actually still doing ballroom dancing. I helped organize a big national ballroom dance championship and exercising, having a great time. So why don't I just go by who I see and call on you instead of waiting? So Erwin, you want to go next?
Sure. I retired from the practice of law a number of years ago and moved to Reston, Virginia. I lived for 40 years in Puerto Rico. And so I've become involved in Reston matters. It's really a homeowners association, but it's more than that. And it has about 24,000 residences, about 63,000 people. And I made the mistake of running for the board of directors. And since no one opposed me, I won. And it's a busy kind of thing. It's got a lot of different things it does. It has 15 trails. I'm sorry, 15 swimming pools, about 50 tennis courts, 55 miles of trails, and lots of other activities for the members. And so it takes quite a bit of time. We have board meetings that have gone till past midnight, all sorts of issues. But it keeps me busy and out of trouble, or maybe in trouble.
Okay, Nude? You're muted. Nude?
Hi. Well, Pat and I moved to Brunswick, Maine in 2018, where we sold our 1850s house in West Hartford and downsized from 3,800 square feet to about 1,200 square feet. And we're still unpacking, you know. We ship more than we can store. But we're delighted to be in Maine. We have 2 grandchildren, and our daughter Abby and her husband Brent, who live in Woolwich, just across the Kennebec River. And our other daughter, Sarah, who went to Bates, class of 95, is in East Lyme with her husband and their 2 grandchildren. And we go back and forth between the grandchildren, basically, and are enjoying it very much. So we got together, I think it was, I don't remember when, within the last year, with Karen Bean and Don Bean hosted some of us who were active in the outing club. And we had a very nice luncheon, and I hope we're going to do it again. So matter of fact, I would like to get the people who live in Maine, who are Bates people from our era, to get together sometime, but I haven't quite figured out how to do that. I've been in touch with Tom Bowditch, who I see up on the screen, and I'm hoping maybe I can connect up with him this summer and we can do some plotting, you know. But anyway, that's where we're at right now.
Well, Lynn can provide the list of people in Maine, if that helps.
You can?
Lynn,
Yes.
Lynn's
Okay.
our agent. I'm sorry, we didn't introduce her. She's our.
That's okay. I didn't
been
want to be...
assigned to our class. Okay, Karen.
Oh my
Hi.
gosh.
Me?
Just got,
No,
Okay.
Karen Smith, Karen.
Oh, hi, that's me.
Not Karen. No.
Yep.
Okay, so I moved to Maine a couple years ago. After my husband died, I came to the place where I was happiest and live in the family home in Ocean Park. I have a little dog that keeps me company and gets me out walking. And I do boxing 3 times a week, which is really pretty fun. And a couple weeks ago, Carol Boehner, my roommate, Carol Stone, and Louise Kennedy came for lunch, and it was really nice to reminisce.
Cool. Okay. Linda and Jeff. You're muted.
You'll admit a class of 64 for just a few minutes to say hi to everybody.
He begged me to let him stay on.
Yeah.
It is great to see all of you, and Erwin and Janie, thank you so much for organizing this, helping it to happen. And Jeff and I married soon after my graduation. We lived in Seacoast, New Hampshire for almost 55 years.
Wow.
And our daughter, Laura, had been having a lot of memory problems. She was living in Amesbury, Massachusetts with her then 14-year-old son. And 2.5 years ago, she was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. And we knew as we were getting older that we were going to need some help. So we have a daughter in Philadelphia. She teaches at Penn, and she and Laura are very close. So we sold our house, Laura sold her house, and we moved in together into this 3-story house in West Philadelphia. A big change from Seacoast, New Hampshire. But I have to say, I love the diversity. I love the diversity of people. And the people in our neighborhood are really wonderful. So big change for us. But we're managed. And I'm not driving, but luckily Jeff is. I will not drive in the city.
That's a good thing. Okay, Perry.
I talk about things are really so good and really so bad, but I'll tell you, that's not even what I want to say to everybody. What I want to say to everybody is, isn't it just freaking amazing that we've lived into this era because things are so different and so interesting. Good days and bad days. Every day something comes before me that just absolutely amazes me and makes me glad that I'm still living. Just 2 weeks ago, my daughter and my granddaughter and I went to a local high school where they were having a show called Kinky Boots, which is about transgenders. And the show was preceded by a show of people from the district who are called drag queens. I know nothing about this at all. And there they were at this local high school. The world has changed so much, and there were protesters and counter protesters. Every day I see something that just amazes me. Recently, I was talking to a couple of young women who I deal with sometimes at George Mason, and I asked them, do they know what the MRS degree was? And they look at me absolutely blankly. And then I explained to them the MRS degree was a girl, and she was a girl, not a woman, who was sent to college to get a husband. And they looked at me because not only did they never heard of the MRS degree, but she said to me, why would anybody go to college to get a husband? And then she thought another minute and she said, I don't even want a husband. And I said, things have changed. Things have changed. She didn't have any idea what I was talking about. And then another couple of women, just no more than a week later, I was telling about this. And I said, well, when trying to get the MRS degree, the girl would go and hang around the law school, the dentistry school, the medical school, trying to meet guys. And this one girl said to me, this one young woman said to me, they ought to bring that back. I said, what? Why the devil would they want to bring that back? And she said, because I'm having terrible trouble meeting that guy. They bring that back, I meet guys. I decided there's no way she was get it. No way at all. So, that's what I reported. There's a lot of very bad to report. There's a lot of very good, a lot of hopeful, a lot of unhopeful. But the thing that keeps me going, that keeps me really excited, is what I'm talking about, just all this cool stuff. And here we are. I calculate that, let's see, when Abraham Lincoln was our age, he had been dead for 24 years. But here we are. We're all running around. We're all just stimulated, at least I bet you are too, just, beyond words by what's going on.
Thanks so much. You haven't lost your sense of humor. I love it. Tom, your update. Oh,
Yeah, I left the Marine Corps, worked for the Center for Naval Analyses for about another 20 years after that in the Pentagon. I left national security and retired completely in the beginning of the pandemic. We've lived in Charlottesville for about 15 years, and now I volunteer up at Monticello, helping study Jefferson, and I do archival research in the Jefferson Library, and living here with Sherry. We're fine. 2 kids are both fine, and we have grandchildren also doing well now. So all is well here in Charlottesville.
awesome. Okay, Natalie.
Hello, everybody. Erwin, I think I used to sit next to you in chapel. I don't think we ever talked very much, but it's good to see you now. And
Very good to see you.
I want to thank you for introducing me to The Color of Law, a wonderful book that I've used in a small group discussion, social justice. And Linda, good to see you. You look just as good as you ever did. And I've always been interested in the things you've written for the newsletter. So anyway, I moved to California after I went to University of Michigan School of Social Work after Bates, and really found my life in California. Married my husband, and we had our 2 children, and I had my career, and it was a good life. My husband died in 2010, and then about 8 years later, I realized I needed to be closer to my 2 sons. One is still in Bangkok, and the other one is here in North Carolina, where I live now. I never thought I would live in North Carolina, but I'm finding that I like a lot of things about it, not everything, but I've been here almost 6 years now, and involved in a lot of different organizations, book clubs and exercise classes, and was on the board of an organization that helps senior citizens to be independent. So it's been a good life, and I'm really curious to hear about how others are doing.
Wow, thanks. Okay, David.
Well, it's interesting, Erwin. I think you're probably the only person I've spoken to over the last several years on a regular basis. Get a phone call from you annually. I just retired 2 months ago, and my whole career was manufacturing women's coats. And so over the last 50-odd years, I've worked in 56 different countries. Spent a lot of time traveling all around the world. Now I play golf twice a week and enjoy grandchildren. Have 5 of them. Unfortunately, they're not small anymore. The oldest one is defending his PhD next week at Duke. And the youngest are just starting college. So, but I wasn't able to direct anyone to Bates. They all went off in different directions. That's about it. I just came back from a week in Israel, working in the fields, helping out to get produce that the foreign workers who are no longer there, so that the crops wouldn't all just go to waste. And it was quite an experience.
Where were you?
We traveled most of the country. I mean, a lot of it was around, based out of Jerusalem, but I did go down to the Gaza border and to the kibbutz that were devastated near Oz, and got down there. I worked on an army base for a day, and then the rest of the time just in the fields. Digging potatoes. It was really an experience. cutting lettuce and everything else.
Interesting, very interesting. Thanks. Jim?
Well, I've, served on the board for a number of years, and it's hard to believe it's been almost 18 years since then. And I kind of miss, I used to have an annual gathering with Bill McNevin, and I would go up to his place on not Winnipesaukee, Sebago, near Mr. Bowditch. And Elsa and I have been traveling a little bit, had an interesting experience on a cruise we were on when I got thrown off in Marseille for having COVID. And one of the, it was being literally thrown off and told you have to stay in this country for at least 5 days. And if you don't get rid of COVID, 10 days. And so fortunately, it was toward the end of our trip. We have 3 children and 7 grandchildren. 2 of our boys are in California. I don't know whether they don't want to be close to their parents. But our granddaughter, who's the oldest, just came back from going to school in California to finish her career at college career at Emerson. So that's been a blessing to have her around. And our daughter is around with her 3 boys, but they're 2 are in high school and the 3rd is in college. So, but not like a lot of you, I guess. For some reason, Bates was not on the list, whether it was academics or interest, but they didn't want to follow in Grandpa's footsteps. Anyway, that's it from here. Kind of miss the being back in the college as often as I was during the trustee days. That's it from around here.
Right. Linda?
Yeah. Well, as probably many of you know, I live in Israel. I've been in Israel over 50 years. And as I'm sure you know, it is not an easy time right now. We're having a very difficult time from all different aspects. And I'll leave it for the moment, I'll leave it there. I live in a lovely little town just north of Tel Aviv. My younger son and his family have been in the Boston area for the last 3 years, and they will be returning to Israel in August. He has 4 children. The 2 older ones are 18-year-old twins, and they're graduating from Needham High School in a couple of weeks, and I'm going for the graduation. And then there are another 2 girls, 14 and 12. And my oldest son lives here. He's actually a trance musician. He was scheduled to appear at that Nova Music Festival. He was supposed to go on at 9 o'clock. And he's married and has 2 children. So I'm very happy with the 6 grandchildren. And where do I live in Israel? It's a city called Ramat HaSharon, just north of Tel Aviv, and just next to Herzliya, which probably is better known. And I do volunteer teaching. I do a little bit of I actually give a few lessons. I have a lovely English speaking group of adults who come once a week to just want to use the English that they have, and we have a lot of fun, exercise, some trips, music, a little movies. Can try to keep busy. Nice to see everyone.
Great. Thanks for joining, Linda. Okay, Laura.
Hi, I'm Laura. At the moment, I am living in Virginia Beach. I retired from school teaching in 2008 and then got busy working on trails in central Massachusetts, where I had lived for 50 years. And then in 2017, I moved to Virginia Beach to be close to my son and daughter-in-law. I was going to wait till I was old and decrepit, but I woke up one morning and said, I better do it while I still have my marbles. So I'm down here. I don't miss the 10 feet of snow that we had in Massachusetts, but in July and August, I wish I was back up north because the humidity here is horrendous. It's also where I had lived was very rural. So Virginia Beach it's not a city per se, but it's got a lot of roads and roads that go around curves and everything changes names. So the driving is a challenge here, especially where the interstates intertwine and they look like two figure eights that come together. It's like, forget this. But, you know, there's that challenge. It's nice to be close to my son and daughter-in-law. I don't have any grandchildren, but we get together from time to time. During COVID, he works at Norfolk Naval Shipyard. So during COVID, he was quarantined quite a bit. So we didn't see each other very much. What do I want to say? Oh, the other thing that was hard to get used to is I live fairly close to Oceana Naval Air Base, and that there's also an air base. Well, it's not really a base. It's a place where aircraft, planes that are going to land on the aircraft do a touch and go when they practice. It's called Fentress. And when they take off from there and come up, they come right over the house, right over our condo. I live in the senior condos. So they're right over. It feels like they actually vibrate the house at times. It's like, whatever. But so getting used to that noise has taken some getting used to, but you know, it's an interesting place to live because there's, you know, a lot of things going on. And for example, at my church and some of the other groups I belong to, there's every year or so, there's a whole change in people moving around. People get transferred somewhere else, especially naval personnel, because that's the largest military part here. And it's just a whole different ballgame than what I'm used to up north. I've got two sisters. One lives in Brooklyn and she's fine. And the other lost her husband and she's in early stages of dementia and lives in St. Petersburg in an assisted living place. She lives there because that's where her son and daughter-in-law live. And so I talked to her and have gone on a couple of trips down just to be with her. And and I've done some traveling. I try to travel someplace every year, although during COVID, traveling to the grocery store was the high point of my life. But in 2 weeks, I'm leaving to go to northern Spain. And that should be interesting. Yeah, 2 years ago, I did part of southern Spain. And yeah, so I'm keeping active. It is a senior community. People, because I go out and walk regularly, I get to meet people there and everybody has little dogs. Well, I don't, I have a cat. Serves, you know, that has always served my lifestyle better because you can leave a cat alone for a whole day and not have to worry about anything.
Right.
You know, but you know, it's just a very interesting and different way of life, and it is there is some greenery around here, so I feel more at home than if I was in the middle of a city area with just cement and all that good stuff. So
Right.
my cat tries to keep me on.
Laura,
Okay.
thanks. We've got a few more and then we've got more to go, but that sounds like we've got a very full life there. That's cool. Minda?
What have I been doing? I've been on Route 95 a lot lately, doing it again this weekend, going up to Needham, Linda, Mutter, because my granddaughter's graduating with her MSW from BC. So that's kind of exciting.
Will you be there next week?
I will be there Saturday to Tuesday.
I
And I'm so sorry. Yeah,
I arrive on Thursday.
Oh, I would, you know, if I
2 weeks. For 2 weeks.
if I weren't living with a man who is in early stages of dementia, I could be gone for a week or more, but I can't. So that's sort of what I'm doing now. I spent the last year and a half looking at what are they, life plan communities, or it used to be called whatever it was called. Anyway, it's independent living, assisted living, and old age homes. So I spent in two or three places: Maryland, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey, where I live. I've got a daughter in Pennsylvania and a daughter in Maryland, and I just don't see myself there. But I just I don't know. He's going to be 94 in November, and we all know how old we are. So at some point, I'm going to be alone in this 55 plus community where half the people go to Florida for the winter, and it can be lonely. It can be dark and lonely in New Jersey. So I'm not ready, and they all have waiting lists. So if I put money down in a year or so, by the time I'm 89, I'll get in. That's the way I look at it. And maybe by then I'll be ready.
I love it.
But in the meantime, I'll be up and down 95. So look for me in any rest stop.
Okay, Louise. You're muted.
I am there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We live in Merrimack, New Hampshire. We've been here, how old is Tim? 56 years. And Dave taught here for many years and then retired and got a different job working for an agency that works for people with disabilities. So our life, because we have a son who's 56 and has autism, has basically been a lot around him. He doesn't live with us, but he lives in our community. And he has activities that we do with him. Sometimes the activities are done with the couple that live with him. We also have a daughter who lives in North Carolina and happens to be married to a woman. And they are doing very well in North Carolina. That is somewhat conservative, but she's doing well. My daughter had some mental health issues growing up, and she's learned how to deal with those. And I'm just very happy that she has a pretty full life at this point. I worked as a social worker for the state for 17 years, advocating around the state for families and families who had children with disabilities and with adults with disabilities themselves. Part of it was really helping families understand that employment was really good and that no matter what anyone said, anyone can get a job. And if they have someone working with them who is quite creative. We don't travel a lot. Dave's legs aren't too good. But we do go to Ocean Park every summer with Tim so that he can go to the beach and enjoy that. And Dave is going to his reunion this June. He was the class of 64. So we're going up and staying with a friend. And so we're going there for the day on Saturday for the goings on and the banquet. And so we'll probably see quite a few people that we both know. And it was fun seeing Karen and Carol. And I think that's about it. I think turning 80 is somewhat daunting. And, we're in really pretty good health. And and we have no grandchildren. So it's worked well. And I want to just make one other comment. We live in a really nice neighborhood. It's not fancy necessarily, but the people are great. And during COVID, what saved me was walking. And I would walk the neighborhood and I would meet people I'd never met. And I met dogs I'd never met. And I have a neighbor who cooks, calls us when she cooks now and sends food up. And it's just been amazing to be able to connect with your neighbors when without COVID, there were a lot of them I didn't even know. So this is really nice. You and her fit setting this up. This is really great. I appreciate it.
Hey, Corin.
Is that me? That's interesting. You call me Karen. It's Karen.
Karen, I'm sorry.
No,
The other one's Karen.
The other one was Karen. Yeah, there were several of us in our class. And that you called me that, it just makes me want to start by saying my sister, one of my sisters, spells my name K-WREN, K-Ren. Which is what my family called me growing up. I was always Karen. Of course, no one outside of New England would pronounce my name that way. But in any case, that just gave me an opportunity to, that's how I sign my name at this point, K-WREN. So one of the highlights of my year was having, well, Perry and I got together in, where did we get together? Silver Spring or Rockville or one of those places, Perry. He found me, which was absolutely amazing. I'm not easy to find, but he did, and we got together. Was it just once, Perry, or did we get together twice? It was just once. And, you know, when he said there's so much and what interests him and so on and so forth, he is one fascinating conversationalist, I got to tell you. We tried to get together a second time and I got wicked sick and couldn't do it. And then I came to Maine. So you can probably see the V match of my ceiling. It's also the floors, the walls, it's everything. I live in 196 square feet of tiny house in Damascotta, Maine on the Pemaquid Lake. And I'm here for, it's my primary residence. I vote, pay my taxes, car is registered, my driver's license, it's all right here. And I do that so that I can vote in Maine. The rest of my life, I live in Maryland, right outside DC, in a 55 plus community. Let's see, my life, oh gosh. 3 kids, 8 grandchildren, 4 great-grandchildren. After I left Bates, I became a French teacher and then a childbirth instructor. And about 10 years into life beyond Bates, I felt a call to change my life. And I ended up at Yale Divinity School and became an Episcopal priest and was ordained 44 years ago in Portland, Maine. Served primarily in parish ministry for the first 15 years, or academic ministry. I was actually chaplain at Bates, just filled in 1 year when the regular chaplain was finishing up his PhD. And I had met Don Harward, who was the then president, when I was up here on a sabbatical, and we just really hit it off. And he called me one day and said, "You wouldn't be free, would you? We need somebody to fill in for Wes while he's finishing up his PhD." And I happened to be able to leave where I was. I really wanted to do it. So I was chaplain at Bates for a year. It was a wonderful year. For the last probably 25 years or so, my primary work has been what's called spiritual direction. I got trained by the Jesuits and I companion people over a 9-month period of time. I'll finish with a person this afternoon at 4 o'clock in the spiritual exercises of St. Ignatius of Loyola. And I retired from the institution about 15 years ago, but I've continued in this practice ever since then. So I'm like 2/3 retired, but I still companion people. I lead retreats 5 times a year. I feel like the balance in my life is just right at this point. I'm a pickleball addict. I play almost every day. And let's see, I think that's about it.
Awesome. What a wonderful array of what you all have been doing. Is it incredible? It's so good to see you all. Thank you for joining this. Okay, we're going to segue to Lynn to talk about what's going on campus.
Yeah, so I put together some photos for us to look at, some new, some old. So let me just share my screen. 1 second. I live in Portland too, so Karen, I very much understand the pickleball craze. Do you ever play at the courts on the East End?
No, I play in Damascotta and Round Pond. I
Oh,
play
okay.
inside and Round Pond outside. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I always drive past my garden plot, my community garden plot is right next to the pickleball courts, and it's not as serene as I thought it would be.
Oh, it's a very loud sport.
So it is. So I just thought I would share the first photo from 1975 from your reunion. Since this is the class gathering and your reunion is next summer. So as Jane said, I'm the class liaison, so I will be helping with planning that, which is exciting. So can you point out anyone in this group?
Oh, yes.
Oh, use camp.
Aren't we lovely?
Yeah.
The era.
Yeah. So I know that there's a new building. This is the only picture I could really find, but this is Bonnie Science Center for those who haven't checked out campus recently. And it was a really great improvement for all the new technologies and study spaces for students that are studying STEM. So sciences, engineering, tech stuff. And it's a really beautiful building. This is the inside. There's been some tours that have been going on. Actually, in a few weeks, there's going to be our reunion for 2024, so 64. So I will be seeing those that are coming to campus. But this is the inside of it, and there's going to be tours of the Bonnie Science Center throughout reunion. So don't miss that if you're coming. Excuse me?
Where is it? On the
It's
campus?
it's across the street from Chase. So this is the building next to Chase. That's what we're looking at. I think it's not College Avenue. What's the other street?
Oh, I see. I can see where we are now. Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then there was a request to show some photos of the dining experience at Bates. So this is the den, which is actually has been refurbished and students use it again. Since COVID, it hasn't been open to students, and it's a really great alternative to eat because, and this is Chase dining, which does not look like this anymore. This is now a meeting room. But this is where students eat today. It's Commons, which you probably have all seen with coming to reunion, but students all chose, when they were trying to rework the dining spaces at Bates, they all wanted one common area, and it's called Commons. So there's really only one dining spot, which really connects with Bates with how everyone wants to be together and values sharing meals together. So I personally went to University of Vermont, and not many people had meals together when I was going to school. And it's something that's really special about Bates and how people love each other's company, which is very nice. So I did find some photos of just the dining hall back in the day, and I just love these plaid jackets.
It's ancient with Madras jackets.
Yeah.
I know it's very different from students today with the sweatpants.
That was a Sunday when we had to wear skirts, but we also had co-ed dining, but it was only Sunday at noontime. That was it.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Co-ed dining.
Co-ed dining, Sundays, noontime.
Wow.
Dress up.
That explains a lot. This is a photo from
Getting bad food.
the 70s, but I thought I would share it because I thought it was very interesting. Commons. And you can see there's some sweatpants and some mixed gendering happening here, which would be a faux pas.
Oh.
And this I thought was really fascinating because this is the old mail room and also snack station, which I don't see any snacks here, but the caption of this photo, I was looking through Muskie Archives, said you could get snacks in the basement. But I know some folks are really tied to their mailbox and can remember their numbers, so I thought I would add this in.
When we were there was no snacks next to those mailboxes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember snacks.
I don't know why the caption shared that, but who knows? Maybe you can buy stamps, not snacks. So this is what the post office looks like today. It's called Post and Print, and there's this whole building. So mail comes to Post and Print and students pick it up. It looks more like this instead of getting letters because everyone's ordering online, but also getting a lot of care packages from friends and family. So you can kind of see the boxes, and we really have a great team over at Post and Print. Not only do they help sort the mail and bring students pick them up and have they're just so nice to everyone. There's also a printing department on the basement floor, and that's where we print all of our reunion materials, brochures, stickers, blow ups of things. They have a lot of different printers. I got a tour. I didn't add any photos in this, but I thought I'd share that contrast. And I'm not sure if you've read the emails, but our new 9th president of Bates College was inaugurated on May 4th. So you'll see President Clayton to the far right here with Gary. And it was a really beautiful day. I'm not sure if any of you had the chance to come, but it was a wonderful celebration. So with the timely events, I thought I would share some photos of this, and I accidentally mixed up the order. This was the theater group.
Miss Schaefer.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Schaefer. Yeah.
I put that photo of Gary a little too soon. I'm sorry. Oh, it's very mixed up. Gary again. The inauguration. I got to sit here since I was working the ADA section with a few alumni I work with. So I got a front row seat of the choir. And I'm not sure if any of you know Woody Trask from the class of 66.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he's up here and was singing with an arm sling on. I think he had surgery, but he had a black arm sling, and it really blended in with his tuxedo, if anyone was concerned. And then this is Gary's family at inauguration. This is Governor Mills, who was in attendance and had the honor of sitting next to Gary's husband, Joe, who I believe is a lawyer.
Yes.
And got his degree at Columbia, which is why he's wearing this outfit. And these are Gary's parents. And he had a really nice tribute to them during his speech and address. So highly recommend watching it if you have the time to hear the speech. It's really special. And even the mayor of Auburn and Lewiston spoke at the event, and it was really nice. Just they were very grateful for Bates helping out with Lewiston, especially in October with the shooting. And they're really looking forward to strengthening the bond and community engagement with Bates and the city of Lewiston.
Yeah. I attended the inauguration, and honestly, it was one of the most joyous things that I have ever been in. It's clear Gary has been on campus since last July, the inauguration was supposed to happen that weekend of the shooting, and of course it got postponed to now. And the students are enthusiastic. They say he goes to everything. He posts on Instagram and he's very supportive. He is a very down to earth and wonderful communicator. It was extraordinary. I think it's going to be an interesting, good time at Bates going forward.
That's great. I actually included all these students. The whole section of the audience was just students in summer dresses because it's short term. So a lot of students are just here doing the one class and then enjoying Maine. But it's interesting how many sundresses and legs you see this time of year, which you don't normally because of the winter in Maine. So the crowd was roaring when Gary went up. The students really, really love him. And on another note, I did include the photo of the eclipse. I'm not sure how many people here were in the full totality, but that was a big highlight in March. A few students went to ski in Sugarloaf, which is a 45-minute drive from campus to go skiing and watch the eclipse. So this is a photo of how packed it was on the mountain, but also the full totality was really special. So the campus was alive. The campus was 98% totality, but didn't get completely dark, but spots like Sugarloaf was really special. Did anyone travel for the eclipse?
No.
Yeah. That is amazing.
Yeah.
It is great photo.
And those are my photos. I hope you liked my mixture of
I did.
photos.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before we switch to discussion about reunion, I wonder if anybody has any questions about anything that's been discussed at this point, or questions of Lynn about things on campus. So
I would like to know if there were many protests, pro-Palestinian or whatever. Since I live between Rutgers and Princeton, it was, a daily event.
Oh, wow.
In my area.
Definitely. I know. And with the news, we are seeing a lot at different campuses. What I can say, since I do work on campus, I have not seen, there haven't been encampments or demonstrations at that degree. The only things that we saw was during inauguration, there were pamphlets that students shared on how to divest from investments and so forth, but it's been quiet in terms of students. There aren't rallies, which I've seen in the news from other schools. But I know that President Jenkins is really concerned and also does not want things to escalate at all. So even during inauguration, there was some chalk writing on the walkways into the gymnasium, Merrill Gym, just calling for a ceasefire. But that's the tone on campus. We haven't had disruptions in classrooms. But if anyone's interested in seeing what President Gary Jenkins wrote about, there is an anonymous platform online, and there has been a lot of hateful words that students have been sharing. And Gary does not want this platform to continue, but also it's student run. It's called Blind Tiger. I'm not sure if anyone has heard of it, but Gary wrote a really good op-ed piece for the student newspaper, just saying how he does not want this this platform to exist, and how it's really causing a lot of hate and how that goes against with Bates' mission.
So would you like Lynn to share that letter or that op-ed?
And I think I'll also share the photos and slides with everyone after the call too, because a lot of folks couldn't make it just with other time commitments. So I can share that with everyone. I have everyone's emails.
Okay,
So
okay.
a more frivolous kind of question, but Jane, given your ballroom dancing interest, and I was addicted to ballroom dancing for about 20 years. While I was at Bates, I began the ballroom dancing club and I taught ballroom dancing the year I was there. And I'm just curious, is there ballroom dancing on campus? Yay, there is.
Yes, there is.
Oh, wonderful.
And you are active with the dance festival, right?
Jane was?
I am, yeah. It was one of the national organizations. Turns out that there are 4, but we're one called USA Dance. And they had their national championships in Pittsburgh in 2022 and then decided to come back. And so at that one, there were 900 people who wanted to compete. This time there were slightly less than 800. And we did all the support work of publicizing the event and getting volunteers to monitor stuff. So yeah.
My friend
I actually competed. I didn't have any competition because of my age. One could imagine that, right?
The Bates Dance Festival, it's interesting because it's an international festival. So it's bringing together all these different versions of dance and music and performances. I think it happens every fall, but I can send you the link to it since you live in Maine. I think that'd be a wonderful event to go to and watch. But I know that artists and students love all the different workshops and jam sessions and performances. So yeah, it's a very special event and the students receive credit for being a part of it.
Wonderful.
Erwin, we
Yes.
probably ought to switch to
Yeah,
reunion.
yeah, a couple of things. If I think perhaps we might share emails as well amongst ourselves. So if you have an objection to doing that, then Lynn will not send it out to everyone, but otherwise she will send out the emails to all of us so that you can keep in touch. And we'd also like to know if you have any thoughts about what you would like to see or do at our reunion next year. We will have an organizing committee sometime in the fall, which usually occurs around homecoming, which this year I think is in late September. Am I correct in that?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So if you'd like to be a part of that, please come and join. And let us know if you have any thoughts about what you would like to see happen at reunion. And it will be helpful to us and you'll be sure to get something that you want.
Lobster, corn, and beer.
Very good.
I think that's generally encouraged, but go ahead.
I'm planning to go back to a reunion this year, joining the class of 64. What motivated me is I may not make it to 65 the reunion next year, so I thought I'd fit one in, and I'll observe how they celebrate their reunion and share it with the group when we get together in the fall. Also, for the eclipse, we rented an Airbnb in Greenville.
Oh,
Maine,
amazing.
and we brought up the family from East Lyme, the 2 grandkids and Sarah and her husband. And then we took the 2 grandkids from Woolwich, and we, saw it live and in color. But the Woolwich parents, they had to work, so they missed it. But there's another one coming up in 2008 in Spain and in Iceland. So we're
Wow.
going to try to make that one as well. So we're getting to be eclipse fanatics.
Awesome.
Great, excellent.
So, although I live in Virginia, I am going to be in Massachusetts I'm driving up on Monday. And we'll be there until probably the 3rd or 4th. So if any of you would like to get in touch, you can reach me on my cell phone or my email, and we'll see if we can get together.
In the Boston area or someplace?
I will be in Plymouth and in Pembroke and in Ashby, but I'll probably be going into the Boston area.
Okay, I'm there for 2 weeks, starting next Thursday. I'll be in touch.
Okay, good,
I'll be in touch.
very good.
What was it again, Erwin?
I'm going up on Monday, driving up, and I will
Monday?
be there, yeah. And I will be there in the area until the 3rd or 4th of June.
Okay. We'll be in touch.
Very good.
Hey,
Louise, you were, I think, going to say something, but you were muted.
Well, I was just thinking, I don't, you know, I was thinking, I'm glad Newt is to read this year because I'll tell you, we haven't been to all of them, but Dave's class is so organized. They connect all the time with all of their classmates through emails. I just remember every time I've been, they are so coordinated and organized. I think it would be good if someone was a part of it and kind of got a feel for what they do.
Sorry, it was a little choppy, but I definitely understand the Class of 64's organization. I've been working with them for their reunion. They even plan a whole week before reunion to hang out in Portland, which is very impressive. And they stretch their reunion very long. But yeah, we've been doing a lot of fun things with sourcing photos and printing them for the class lounge and trying to think of any special events. The Victoria Wyeth is presenting on not only her grandfather, but her uncle and herself as an artist. So 3 generations of Maine, which will be really cool on Friday. So I'll see you there and Louise. So
when is she presenting?
She's presenting at 4 o'clock on Friday, June 7th.
Oh,
I know it's a little, I know a lot of people are traveling.
wonderful.
Yeah, I'm excited. I have yet to meet her, but she agreed to present and it's going to be great. So
Wow.
I think the other class,
She's great.
Lynn, do you get involved with the class of 67? I believe they
yeah, Keith is
they do
great.
it almost annual.
I know. I
But
know.
they seem quite active as well, Keith Harvey.
His newsletters are great. If anyone wants to
Yeah.
join them, let me know or let him know.
Okay.
Laura,
do you all think we should do more of these Zoom calls? I mean, should we try and do them? I mean, we haven't before.
It's interesting. And just as an offshoot, probably I've talked more today than I did all 4 years at Bates. But yes, just to keep up and yeah.
I would love it. This has been so incredibly special for me and for Jeff too. So thank you all.
I would like it too. I will never make it up to a reunion, but I would certainly enjoy doing this again.
Well, we'll see if we can put it together again. It might happen in 2 or 3 months, perhaps. I'm not sure if a monthly is too much, but maybe once a quarter or something of that nature might work. What do you think? If you think that you would like that, give a sign thumbs up or something.
Awesome. Let's use these things.
Okay.
Should we
so
take
it
a
looks like-
class photo before we leave? I can just do a screenshot, but I know that
Sure.
I do it with the class of 61. They love it. Oh,
That's
nice
good.
thumbs up, David. All right, everyone say cheese. All
Cheese
right,
and
I got
crackers.
it. I'll send it.
Awesome.
Well,
This
thank
is
you,
this.
everyone.
Can I ask a quick, Karen, are you in Portland in the summer?
No,
Did I understand you?
I'm in Damascotta.
You're in Damascotta. I was going to say, I'm very near Portland all summer and I'd love to get together, but
Damascotta, I'm an hour north of Portland.
yeah, okay. All right, thank you.
Where in Maine are you staying, Tom?
Well, we have a home on Sebago Lake and we're there every summer. So I'll be up there on the 1st of June. We stay until around the middle of September. It's been in my family. We've done this all our lives.
Amazing.
It is. It is amazing, actually.
All right. Well, I sadly have to go, but I have to end this. But thank you all for coming, and I will share the follow